in the pathway of hepatobiliary tract. Basically, jaundice terms as the yellowish staining of the skin, sclera, mucous membrane with pigmented bilirubin. As you all know that bilirubin is two types and hyperbilirubinemia like direct and indirect. And hyperbilirubinemia usually detectable as a jaundice when blood level rise about 2.5 to 3 milligram per deciliter. And the jaundice can be caused by a wide range of benign and malignant disorder, and it is indicate a serious condition. And the differential diagnosis of jaundice like systematic approach, and so many patients organizing with the jaundice, and due to metabolic effect. And this metabolic bilirubin metabolism can take place in the three phases. The first phase is prehepatic phases, second one is intrahepatic phases, and third one is post-hepatic phases. The prehepatic phase includes the production of bilirubin from the breakdown of heme products and its transport to the liver. It is a prehepatic. And the majority of the heme result from the red blood cell metabolism, and the rest of other heme containing organic compounds such as myoglobin and cytochrome. In the liver, this insoluble unconjugated bilirubin is then conjugated to the glucuronic acid to allow for solubility in bile and excretion. Basically, the bile is excreted through the feces, urine, sweats, and these are the pathway for the metabolism and excretion of the bilirubin. If these processes get blocked and the bilirubin accumulated in the body, and the patient is having a hyperbilirubinemia state because of a non-excretion and increased production, and because of any obstruction to the pathway, and this soluble bilirubin through the biliary system into the duodenum, and dysfunction of in any phases can lead to jaundice. Now in the prehepatic phases, because of elevated level of unconjugated bilirubin from the faulty prehepatic metabolism, and usually rises from the condition with proper conjugation of bilirubin in the hepatocytes. First is insufficient conjugation in the process result in excessive heme metabolism, and this conjugation system result in unconjugated hyperbilirubinemia. Hemolysis causes are the inherited or acquired hemolytic anemias, and these inherited hemolytic anemias include genetic disorder of the red blood cells like number first, hereditary spherocytosis, enzymatic defect like glucose 6-phosphate dehydrogenase deficiency, this glucose 6-phosphate dehydrogenase deficiency, and defect in hemoglobin structure like sickle cell anemia and thalassemia. For hemolytic anemia, the acquired causes is also, it is divided into the immune mediated number first, and second one is non-immune mediated. In immune mediated hemolytic anemias are direct comb positive test, whereas the autoimmune are drug induced. And because of prehepatic dysfunction of bilirubin metabolism result in failure in transport of unconjugated bilirubin to the liver by albumin, and this condition leads to plasma protein loss, poor nutritional state of the patient, excess protein loss or hyperproteinemia, like in case of burns, can lead to elevated levels of unconjugated bilirubin in circulation, resulting in jaundice. Second one is intrahepatic jaundice. Intrahepatic phase of jaundice is, in intrahepatic causes of jaundice involve the intracellular mechanism of conjugation and excretion of the bile from the hepatocytes. The enzymatic process in the hepatocytes can be affected by any condition that impairs hepatic blood flow and subsequent function of the liver. In case of ischemia, hypoxemia, these are the events which causes or directly affect the function of the liver. Some another causes for the intrahepatic phase dysfunction are unconjugated or conjugated hyperbilirubinemia. Second one is genetic disorder like Gilbert syndrome, and it is a other benign condition. Typically, the result in transient and increase amount of unconjugated bilirubin levels and jaundice during episode of fasting, stress condition, severe illness, and this required only that it is a non-pathological condition like stress, fasting, or illness. These are the self-limited condition of episodes. They do not require any treatment. But in case of other disorder like Crigler-Najjar syndrome, it is a rare condition, and encephalopathy, this required treatment. Any defect in the conjugation, disorder in the bilirubin excretion in hepatocytes can lead to a jaundice, like causes are Rotor syndrome, Dubin-Johnson syndrome are the two uncommon genetic disorder which disturb the secretion of conjugated bilirubin from the hepatocyte into the bile and result in conjugated hyperbilirubinemia. And other are multiple acquired condition like inflammatory condition, intrahepatic cholestasis by affecting hepatocyte mechanism of conjugation and excretion of bile. Certain viruses are responsible for this condition. Alcohol abuse, septicemia or sepsis, autoimmune disorder, and inflammatory condition of the liver. This lead to disruption of bilirubin transport into the liver and resultant development of jaundice. Certain drugs which responsible for cytotoxic effect of medication like acetoaminophene therapy, use of oral contraceptive pills, and use of anabolic steroids. These are the certain drugs which are responsible for development of jaundice with their cytotoxic effect. Now come to the post-hepatic phase of jaundice or surgical jaundice. The post-hepatic phase of surgical jaundice are the usually its result from intrinsic or extrinsic obstruction of the biliary duct system that prevent the flow of bile into the duodenum. There is a development of the jaundice because of wide spectrum of pathology for obstructive jaundice. In obstructive jaundice, the causes are cholelithiasis, cholelithiasis. Cholelithiasis means gallbladder stone. Cholelithiasis means GB stone or common bile duct stone, CBD stone. Benign and malignant biliary strictures, cholangiocarcinoma, carcinoma of bile duct. Cholangitis, there is a cholangitis, an inflammatory condition of the common bile duct, and biliary tree atresia. It is because of Pancreatic disorder. Patient present with the jaundice due to external compression of the biliary system. And we required for the management surgical management, surgical approach, invasive approach, surgical compression removal, and these are the method of treating this kind of obstructive jaundice. By in case of cholelithiasis, we should go for a cholecystectomy. In case of common bile duct stone, choledocholectomy is required, or common bile duct stone remover. And for the management part of this jaundice, we should go for all the management part, including from the non-invasive to invasive procedure. That means you have to start from the non-invasive method of management or investigation, like radiological evaluation of the liver. The radiological evaluation of the liver, we are using ultrasonography. The ultrasonography imaging will give idea about the echo texture, the normal anatomy from the liver, right and left hepatic duct, and common hepatic duct. Then you have to reach from cystic duct, common bile duct, then cystic duct, and the cystic duct will give connected to the gallbladder. Presence of any stone into the cystic duct, gallbladder, presence of any mucocele or collection of mucus into the gallbladder, and either the gallbladder is full of stone, any gallstone is stuck in the cystic duct, and this is the cause for the blockage of the cystic duct. If it gets blocked by any stone through the cystic duct, there is a problem of obstruction, problem of bilirubin transport from liver to gallbladder and to the duodenum, and this channel or pathway of the mechanism of metabolism is get blocked in case of obstructive jaundice. So the first aim is to go for management cholecystectomy in case of cholelithiasis. Now another condition, if a stone is get blocked in the common bile duct stone or CBD stone, and it is called choledocholelithiasis. And the choledocholelithiasis is also managed by using endoscopic procedure. The endoscopic procedure by removal of gallstone is nowadays in newer practice. And another thing is, there is any biliary atresia, any mucosal of gallbladder. Ultrasonography is give a useful idea about the direction and flow of the blood flow along with the bilirubin flow. And if it is not confirmed by the sonography, we should go for a CT scan. A CT scan, it is digitally processed cross-sectional image of the body from a large series of X-ray images or helical spiral CT scan. It will give idea about the correct and absolute anatomical direction to make a diagnosis to correct the management. And it will give idea about the supply of the liver, hemodynamics of the hepatocytes, and majority of the hepatic stone function of the liver. It give we know about the CT scan. And the CT scan images are in segments. They show also hepatic veins, inferior vena cava, as well as the Cornett's liver segment. And along with this CT scan, we should go for a MRI. And this MRI gives idea about the various tumors, and it is useful in the diagnosis of hepatic fibrosis, cirrhosis, and it gives idea about the any tumor. MRI guided or CT guided biopsy are taken sometimes in case of carcinoma liver. In case of carcinoma, positron emission tomography or PT scanning is allocable. And these are the non-interventional method of diagnosis. And for the development of jaundice, there are the certain interventional modes of management like endoscopic removal of common bile duct stone. It is a kind of a interventional modes of diagnosis, and certain surgical management like surgical stenting. The surgical stenting need for the procedure in hepatic transplantation, or the recommendation is surgical stents so as to allow in case of biliary atresia. In case of biliary atresia, in case of common bile duct, the surgical stenting is adequate. And in case of non-stenting surgical management of refractory, non-stenting are we are using a non-stenting scanning sometimes. Now come to the another causes for the development of obstructive jaundice. In obstructive jaundice, biliary atresia, hepatocellular carcinoma, adenoma, and gallbladder cancer is about 90% of patients associated with the cholelithiasis, and it's presenting with the gallbladder cancer with obstructive jaundice. As you all know that if it is required, we do a cholecystectomy in case of obstructive jaundice with the gallbladder carcinoma along with the radiotherapy and chemotherapy. And further, if it is required, the lobectomy of liver in case of surgical resection, like left hepatic lobectomy or hemihepatectomy in case of surgical jaundice, right hepatic lobectomy, it is a kind of a surgical approach for resection in carcinoma. The first of all, the open procedure and closed procedure for the operation of the common bile duct stone, gallbladder stone, biliary atresia, or all that. I am talking about the open procedure. In case of open procedure, we do cholecystectomy. In cholecystectomy, the first approach, the open operation and the laparoscopic operation for the cholecystectomy is differ. The Charcot triad or Kellogg's triangle. The Kellogg's triangle is the safety of triangle, where the lower part or inferior part is as a part of cystic duct, inferior cystic artery, and part of the cystic duct. In case of open, Sashikant Sai.
Yes, sir. हाँ सर.
आवाज आ रही कहीं तो हाँ आवाज आ रही ना हाँ. Okay.
Yes, sir.
हाँ ठीक ठीक. In case of open surgery, we are approaching first the two method of operation of the cholecystectomy. Is first is fundus first procedure. as you all know that the gallbladder is having the fundus, body, cystic duct. In fundus first procedure, we had to locate the fundus of the gallbladder, and from the fundus we are reaching from fundus to body, and a surgical approach by minimum or a fine dissection is to be done up to the level of cystic duct. And when we approach the cystic duct and opposite to this cystic duct, we find the cystic artery. In case of open operation, because the whole of the structure in our hand, so we have to first ligate the cystic duct and cut it out. Then we have to approach for the cystic artery. And cystic artery is to be ligated, clamped, and cut. And whole of this gallbladder is excised out. But in case of laparoscopic operation, in case of because of a view or approach is minimum, and we are working with the minimum approach, a minimum field of vision, we have to secure the bleeding point. Like in adherent approach to the cystic artery, there will be chances of bleeding from the cystic artery is very common in case of laparoscopic surgery or cholecystectomy. And first approach to the Callas triangle. First, you have to identify the Callas triangle, where is the cystic artery, where is the cystic duct, and the inferior border of the liver, and right and left hepatic duct and common hepatic duct. And first, we have to approach the cystic artery. And in case of laparoscopic surgery, we had to catch first, apart from, whereas we are working in open surgery, we are catching first cystic duct in case of open surgery, but in case of laparoscopic surgery, we are approaching first cystic artery in case of laparoscopic surgery, so as to secure the bleeder in case of where we are working in a laparoscopic procedure. We have to identify the cystic artery, ligate and cut. Then we have to approach for a cystic duct. This is the procedure is different from open and laparoscopic procedure. Now come to the common bile duct approach, or removal of common bile duct stone from the laparoscopic or open procedure. Again, it is very possible in case of open procedure, we have to go for a linear or a longitudinal incision is taken over to the common bile duct after identification of the where the stone is located. In case of after a pre-diagnosis or non-interventional study like ultrasonography or MRI or CT scan is proven for the location of common bile duct, where is the stone is located, then it is identified and the longitudinal incision is taken over the common bile duct, and with the approach of a stone holding remover, we have to excise out or retrieve this stone from the common bile duct. And the common bile duct is approximated or sutured with the using a 3-0 absorbable vicarial suture in a fascinating suture which is continuous. And if it is possible to put a T-piece or a T-piece in from the right and left hepatic duct or common bile duct, so as to remain or retain the flow of the bile duct, and if it is patient with atresia or a blockage in the right or left hepatic duct, it may be possible T-piece is inserted into this suture opening through the common bile duct. But now come to the laparoscopic procedure. Laparoscopic procedure is to first identify that where the bile stone is situated, and again it is the possibly the collect triangle, and the stone is removed with the using a harmonic cautery. What do you mean by harmonic cautery? Harmonic cautery is a harmonic is a procedure with that the vessel is sealed and cauterized, the stone is get removed and clipping applied into the common bile duct, and the stone is removed by the laparoscopic procedure. Now and now we are approaching to the jaundice, like another causes for the development of structure of the bile duct. Now come to the structure of bile duct and further indication of the cholecystectomy, cholecystectomy, the other procedure required the obstructive jaundice and gallist apart from the colorectal cyst. These are the other factors which involving the development for the extrahepatic biliary atresia. Now come to the we are talking about the biliary atresia. The biliary atresia is it affect the basically male, and it is an inflammatory procedure, and it is start from the birth. It is an intrahepatic changes resulting in biliary cirrhosis and portal hypertension. And this inflammatory destruction of the bile ducts has been classified into atresia first, second, and third.